Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Under Embargo with Chelsea on the page of Mark Yay? I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce his surname. I think he's Ivorian. Yes, he is. Playing for Oldham at the moment, out on loan from us. 17 appearances for them so far in centre-back. A couple of yellow cards. Not had the best season of it, in all honesty. But I guess, you know, his potential would suggest that he's probably one of those players that will move on and find himself a new career in a slightly lower division. It's just one of those things. But since it is the start of the week, it is time to thank new patrons. This week, it is Alexander Neumann, or Newman. Apologies if I'm not pronouncing your name right. Thank you so much for signing up and everybody else over there. I'm going to try and shake things up a little bit and bring in some new rewards and stuff for the tiers once we get to Notts County, because I want to give you some more stuff, particularly once I start streaming again properly. Put you in the backroom staff of some teams and stuff like that, and also potentially with the secondary save. And again, still not talking about that too much, but there might be some room for that stuff as well. I just want to give you some, maybe even things like blooper reels. But I mean, there's barely any. I am a consummate professional. In addition to that, computer update. The motherboard has been purchased, so now I have an SSD and a motherboard. We are slowly but surely getting there. I'm just trying to, I've got a list of stuff I want to get. I'm just waiting for the prices to be dead right. So yeah, we've got ourselves an MSI Tomahawk B450 Max, because you can kind of see what kind of build we're going with for this computer now, based on the motherboard alone, those of you that are a bit more clued up on the computer side of things. So yeah, we're getting there with that. John Scones, as jammy as ever. I actually had to read this a couple of times because I figured, oh yeah, fair enough. And then I realised you'd said scones. Yes, definitely. So, saw a lot of your kind of comments about what you think of the new match engine based on the beta. And yeah, I kind of agree with a lot of things. I think that the side netting thing is still happening. But I tried turning all of my wingers and wide players on to shoot less often, and I feel like it doesn't make any difference. If anything, it just makes you worse. But we'll talk more about that when we get to our first game off camera. But I think penalties are being given way too much, and they're also being missed way too much, when on average it's, I believe, 78% of penalties are scored, so roughly 8 out of 10. No. I think we're about half, maybe less than that, in terms of overall penalties missed and scored, maybe even less. But I think the reason they're being given so much is because dribbling now seems to be super powerful, and it feels like if you don't have run at defence on, you're essentially at a disadvantage to every single team you come up against, so you kind of have no choice but to have it on, it seems. But anyway, so, I did a massive chunk off camera because I feel like, you know what, I want to give you guys the rest of this season before we start Notts County, which basically means I've got 5 episodes, unless I can somehow scram a double upload in there to get that done, and I intend to do that, basically. I made a promise and I'm going to stick to it. So we're now on the 10th of December, as you can see. We're not in the World Club Cup, because the World Club Cup is just normal World Club Cup, and even though it said we'd qualified for it, we aren't in it. So I don't know what's going on with that. I think maybe there's a glitch in the beta. Someone did tell me they were updating the World Club Cup to be 24 teams, or the Club World Cup, or whatever. But it ain't this year, so I don't know what that was about when it was saying we'd qualified for it, because we sure as shit didn't. Man City are in it, though. So in our first off-camera game, we travelled away to Leicester. We took the lead after 15 seconds. Ball lumped over the top, even though we weren't playing a long ball game. Tammy Abraham broke through and slotted in. It might have even been 13 seconds, I'm not sure. And that was what we had to rely on. I thought I'd try out the idea after that of turning off our wingers from making them shoot less often, essentially. They would still shoot into the side netting when they got the opportunity, but I felt like they were actually, if anything, they were passing the ball away from good opportunities more. It felt like instead of just shooting sometimes, they were actually just trying to go back into blind alleys. So it feels like the shoot less often doesn't stop them from doing the annoying thing, it just makes them less effective. So I turned that off after that, and I think we were lucky in this game, frankly, to get away with the win. I hold my hands up, I don't think we deserve to win this match. Absolutely not. This one, on the other hand, we very much did deserve to win. Despite going behind early on to Andros Townsend, we thumped them after that. We were 2-1 up, though, after just 7 minutes when Erling Haaland and Tammy Abraham grabbed us goals. Abraham made it, I think it was, no, in fact, it was a penalty from Mason Mount. We got a penalty and we scored it, making it 3-1 before Abraham made it 4-1 after 21 minutes. And then things just kept on coming. They got a goal back again through Andros Townsend, but then 2 more goals from Tammy Abraham on the night. What a legend he has been this year. He's basically on a goal a game in the league at the moment. He is terrific and tearing things up. 6-2 victory away at Selhurst Park. Terrific. And then we got back to good business in the Europa League. Fairly comfortable stuff. 3 goals in this one. Hurling Orland, Antonio Rudiger, and of course Christian Pulisic, giving us the sort of the icing on the cake in the second half, just to wrap up the game quite nicely for us. And I think that was probably enough to qualify us at that point. Then we got what I feel like is a deserved victory, but when you actually look at the opportunity, like, we definitely deserve the win. We created the most opportunities against Wolves comfortably, as you can probably imagine, but they should have taken the lead when Ruben Neves missed a penalty. We were then given a penalty later in the game, which Mason Mount dispatched. And, I mean, that's basically rescued us a huge... This was probably the biggest game we had in this entire period. We've been very, very fortunate with the games we've had off camera have all been against winnable teams, which means at some point this season, I feel like we're going to have like a 6 or 7 game stretch where every single game we play is against a team in the top 5 or 6. So that is going to be crazy tough because we've had a very, very comfortable run lately. This was the most difficult one in there, and we came through, not so much with flying colours on the match side thing, but I think we played pretty well overall. Mason Mount, man of the match again. Then we had quite a stuttery result away at Karabakh. Now, I did play a slightly rotated side. You can see I started Makis Panaki. Did not play well. He was a little bit unfit, though, to start this match, so that might have been the reason. Kovacic was still excellent in the midfield, though, with his 7 key passes, but we did give them a goal in this one. Charlie Brown started up top and scored, I believe, probably his first goal for us. I'm not entirely sure, but it was great to see him score that goal. Tammy Abraham put us back in front after they'd equalised before. Mateo Kovacic scored a nice, low drive, a daisy cutter, if you will, to give us a third goal and really wrap up that group, which is what we're going to be trying to do today in the live com against Spartak. I think we were already through and everything, but I just didn't know where to stop because I was expecting a World Club Cup that never came. Then we had a very strange game in the West London derby away at Fulham. Really, really comfortable straight from the off here. Jadon Sancho gave us the lead nice and early on. Callum Hudson-Odoi then added another one. You might notice that Pulisic has been missing a few games. He got a lower back stress fracture. He's still out right now, but he's actually only going to be out for 6 weeks. So after Christmas, I think Pulisic will be back. But it's nice because it's giving Jadon Sancho a chance on the other wing, bringing Hudson-Odoi in a little bit as well, and also giving a chance to the likes of Chacon. I've even deployed Jude Bellingham out on the left-hand side. In fact, I did in this game in the second half, and well, you can see what happened there. We were 2-0 up, cruising. Fulham weren't really doing anything, and all of a sudden, in the space of 2 minutes, Jared Bowen got put through as Reece James missed headers twice in a row, and Bowen just slipped them into the bottom corner to give Fulham a very unlikely equaliser in the West London derby. Thankfully, though, ball came to the back post after it was deflected off of a shot, and there was Jude Bellingham to score his first ever Chelsea goal and give us a winner in the West London derby. Felt a bit weird celebrating that, not gonna lie, but I did it. I did it for you. And Fulham were, of course, hacking us to pieces, it would seem. They also had Dennis Mann and Manu Garcia, so it had Manu and Man in their squad. Gotta love that. Then we had a real trashing of Newcastle. We've kind of been a bit on the ropes against some of these teams lately, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, burst into life. Marcus Alonso played this one as Emerson was suspended. What a performance from him. A goal and 2 assists on the night. Sancho got a goal. Abraham got a goal. Mason Mount got a goal. He also missed a penalty in this one. Marcus Alonso scored a goal. Still a lot of penalties being missed. We should be, this should have been 5-0 in all honesty, but it was just nice to see it happening. You can really see that we are just like a train at the moment. And then we had a game that was pretty tight, really. I don't think Leeds' system really gelled that well with us in terms of opportunities. Like, we had a fair number of shots, but they were mostly off target. Not that many from range, just they were poor block. Do you know how it is? They basically, Leeds played the penis system. They had a 4-2-2-2. And it was very, very narrow. So we just exploited the wings. And obviously that's where our best opportunities came from. But it was only really Tammy Abraham's goal that was able to separate the two sides. So not fortunate. We definitely deserved the result, but it could have easily been a 0-0 draw. And that has left us second in the Premier League. We are winning hand over fist at the moment. Liverpool have also been dropping a godload of points lately. Like, just an insane amount of points they've been dropping. Tammy Abraham, top scorer with 15 goals. We're now 8 points clear of dropping out the Champions League spots. We're in a title race, technically, but I just think City are so much stronger than everybody else. And we've had a very fortunate run of matches against the bottom. Everybody we've played, minus Wolves, really, has been, like, we played against Leicester, they're 11th, Fulham 12th, Palace 13th, Newcastle 16th, Leeds United. We played all these sort of sides. You know, it's been fairly comfortable for us for the most part. And our next game is against Watford as well. And then we've got a double header of matches against Norwich, who are amazingly 8th in the league. So that might be the difficult one. Who knows? And in addition to that, we've got Everton in the FA Cup third round. Can this game not draw us against anyone that isn't like a top flight side in the FA Cup? I also signed a new 4-year deal. They offered me a contract and I'm like, yes, please. Something else. There is literally, and I've got to show you this. The board has no noticeable criticism of me. And yet, B. What do I gotta do exactly? If you've got no criticisms of me, how can you possibly rank me anything lower than A- I would settle for? But B? They even like the possession football now. Like, what more can I do, lads? And just to sort of show you how good we've been from a chances created standpoint, look at this. 64 chances created this season. That is 23 more than Manchester United, the second most. I mean, we've literally got like a 30% increase. In fact, no, more like 50% over any other team in the league now in terms of creativity. The tactic we've got now seems to be working delightfully, and I'm very, very happy that we made those changes, because I think if we'd have persisted with that other approach, we'd have been done for. But this one seems to, the match engine seems to like the way we're playing at the moment, and I'm alright with that, because it's way better to watch. But today, we're going to be playing against Spartak. Bit of a fun one. I'm going to try and start Panaki. Hopefully he's not, like, knackered, because Tomori's suspended again, unfortunately. He's been suspended in the league and now in the Europa League, so I believe I will bring in Ampadu, because I just want to give him opportunities, you know? It's a case of Hudson-Odoi and Sancho, although I might... Actually, I'll be tempted to probably start Panahi on this side and then just leave Hudson-Odoi. Okay, that's better. He's much fresher this time. Still 92, but he was like 82 when I started him in the last game, just for the lols. I wanted to give him some game time. I want to see him score a goal or grab an assist or something, you know? Still going to go with these two up top because I just really like seeing us score goals against them, you know? Midfield, Mount and Kante, done. Like, look at Mason Mount now. He's much, much better than he was before. He and Kovacic are now really like neck and neck for this practically, and you could see the performance upgrade Mason Mount's been putting in. I can't really fault him, and I'm not going to take him out of the team for that, really. Then again, where is our next game? It is only a few days away against Watford. So as it happens, particularly as this game is not that important, I might be tempted to actually start Kovacic for this one. Some of these guys are just not fresh enough, and I don't really want to start Giroud there. And Batshuayi can, yeah. In fact, why don't I start Bellingham? I feel like he deserves a chance to show off his work in the midfield, although perhaps maybe have him as a box-to-box instead of Kante instead. Yeah, screw it. We'll give him a crack. He looks dynamic in that midfield is what I would say. Tomori can't be on the bench either. So on the bench we'll have Conte, Livramento, Sancho, Chacon, Christensen, Mason Mount, and of course, Charlie Brown. Former Chelsea player Andre Schürrle actually in the team, and Fulham legend, whatever the opposite of a legend is, that's him. They've got no recognised playmaker, so we'll just kind of go with the standard stuff on these guys, I guess. Also, I promised I'd do a tactics run-through in case anyone actually wanted to, like, try this out themselves and couldn't see it quick enough. So basically, we're on attacking. These are the instructions. We're wide, we're overlapping on both sides, nothing else here. We're working the ball in the box with floating crosses, slightly shorter and slightly lower tempo, and we're running at defence. In the transitions, nothing on here. We're counter-attacking, distributing quickly, distributing to the fullbacks and centre-backs nicely. We've got lower line of engagement, but a standard defensive line to compress that area. Standard defensive width with tighter marking and a little bit more on the pressing here, as well as preventing short goalkeeper distribution. I don't know if I've got any specialist instructions on the players other than dribble more. I think a couple of them have got dribble more on... These guys have got it by default. Got it on the... No, just that one position. And obviously, he's got it by default. And I don't think I had it on Reece James because his dribbling isn't amazing. So that's basically what we've got for the... I don't think these guys have got anything specific on them either. No. So that's... If you want to copy the tactic, that's how you would go about it. Right then. Hopefully, we can come out and get the 6th win in a row in the Europa League, which would be really nice. We're certainly too good for this at the moment, is for sure. Particularly with the group that we got. Reece James, cutting through. And it's well played. I really just want to see a bit out of Panaki, if we can get him a full 90 minutes today, perhaps. Just see what he's capable of. And Hudson-Odoi round the post. I just want to see him do stuff, you know? Well, very little happening so far. And Panaki! Oh, what a chance that was. That was his opportunity. Oh, he's offside. Goddamn. That right there is probably one of the worst things I could have seen right about now, particularly as we don't have Alonso on the bench. Who's even going to come in here? Okay, well, Livramento's coming in, even though he's a right-sided player, but he can technically sort of play there. Also, we don't look very good, so I'm going to switch over to what I've been using as a sort of backup, which is where we go higher line of engagement, more in press, and then we switch to higher tempo. Marcus Alonso is pretty useful to have in these sort of situations. Haaland, can he square it for someone? He's going to hit the side netting, and he doesn't! Kovacic! And Haaland has offside, surely. Yeah, he is. Ball in. Cleared away, and Bellingham! Over the crossbar. Oof. I mean, we're definitely on top in this match, it's fair to say, but we could probably do with it a little bit better, but I'm just content to give some of the youngsters a bit of a run out, give Bellingham his chance, give Panaki his opportunity particularly. I can't see this being one of those games that we just run away with, particularly as they are the second best team in this group. I mean, that's the second time today that Nagatomo has been just randomly on the sideline. Like, while he's dying hard, we're nearly win- Ah, Reece James. All the way through, and Haaland is there. That was terrible defending from Spartak. Haaland, I mean, apparently that was actually a Reece James assist again when the defender, it seems to hit them. That seems to count as an assist. But 11th goal of the season for Erling Haaland. Tammy Abraham has been sensational this year, but it cannot be stated enough that Haaland has actually done a fantastic job of being that supporting striker. His 11th goal of the year. Go on, ooh, over the top for Haaland instead. He's probably going to have a shot here and a good save. Schürrle's just spinning off there, and Kovacic makes a great tackle. Whoa, Panchenko tried one. Interestingly, Bellingham's actually been the worst performer on the pitch. Perhaps we should get Mounty on just for a little run there and try Chacon out here. Not really sure what the players have got to be nervous about, considering we are winning this match, but also are already through it anyway, and we could lose and still come top of the group. But there you go. Reece James, got a slightly different perspective on that side now. I think Panaki just isn't quite at the races yet. Abraham round the side of the post. He'll get there eventually in his career, but he's just not quite there yet. I think just what it comes down to is the fact that Panaki has yet to really shed that right midfield role, and he's not super comfortable playing further up the pitch, so he doesn't make as many runs in behind like the others do. So I think that's really what's holding him back at the moment. But if he could get that away from himself, I think he'll really start to improve in years to come. Then again, when we leave the club and we do the looking forward thing for him, my guess is they'll just dump him back into right midfield with a new manager or something, and that's eventually where he'll end up playing. Abraham strikes, smashes it a goal. We've deserved the win, without a shadow of a doubt, but it's been a bit of a tight one that we've had to rely on sort of errors a little bit. Chacon now to whip one. And Abraham flicks it wide again. James. And again, Chacon makes these lovely runs into that space there. And he's not bad at picking people out either. And Abraham has really been quite wayward with his headers today. I think he alone probably could have had a hat-trick of those potential opportunities. But it doesn't matter. We're going to get the win in the end anyway. It's Erling Haaland that's going to bail us out in this one. Abraham. And there we go. Chelsea 1, Spartak 0. 6 wins out of 6 in the Europa League group stage is kind of what we expected, but we've done it. We've dug deep occasionally and done the job. Bellingham did not have the best game, unfortunately. But again, it's a question of blooding these guys in. Emerson's injured. Pulled ankle ligaments. Like, for a red injury, that's about as nice as we could have got. You can see that Pulisic will be back in fact, 1 to 4 days. So, yeah, he was only out for 6 weeks, but not bad. Now, annoyingly, the draw for the Europa League is after the Watford game. And that's frustrating. So I really don't know what to do for the next episode. Again, it might just be one of those surprise ones where I just have to sort of play it by ear and see what kind of comes up. It isn't going to be the next round of the Europa League. That is too much to be doing off camera. But we will get there. We've got time and we will get there. I'm still going to do a massive chunk. Look at this green. We really are firing in goals left, right and centre and actually not conceding as many now. I think we've got the 4th best defence in the league and the joint second best attack. So that's good to see. So next episode, look at this. Norwich, Everton. Jesus Christ. This one is particularly galling when there's 2 games in 2 days against, or within 3 days rather, against the same team in the Premier League. Who fixture computed that shit? Anyway, if you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope you have, we're getting there. We're going to get this season done. I don't think we're going to be able to win the title or anything like that, but I think top 4 it should be definitely on the cards, and hopefully getting to the Europa League final would be quite nice as well. I'll see you guys soon. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. If you drop a like on the video, I don't know if I already said that. Who knows? I'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.